Welcome back to the bench, folks. Today we'll be comparing the Ridgid 18 volt 4 amp hour battery to the Ryobi 18 volt 4 amp hour battery. Some of you may have noticed the difference in price between these. We'll try to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to be load testing and graphing both of these with this handy little gadget here. But first, let's have a look inside. So there it is. You have the balancing and control board there. And this does have enough leads to sense the voltage of every cell pair. So it does have true balancing. You see in these large capacity lithium batteries, it's just like two small capacity lithium batteries running in parallel. Here's a small one. So yeah, real balancing. Unlike some of the more reputable brands I've opened. But that's older. And look here. Samsung. I know them. Focus. I remember you. Oh, there's the difference. The Ridgids are slanted forward for action. But anyway, they've got these cells locked up tight, unless I want to pry apart the tabbing. And these are both equally new batteries that I need in my truck. And my tabbing welder is broken since that last video. You're welcome, YouTube. So let's all just make a wild assumption based on the color of both of these cells and the origin of both of these batteries. Anyway, same thing on the Ridgid here, full balancing. There are no little jumper wires on this one, it's kind of directly connected. So on to the battle. Again, the test rig, this handy little gadget here, connected to my fancy connector. So we have the alligator clip leads for the Ridgid, and I'll be using this empty shell of a charger just for its contacts, because the Ryobi is more difficult to connect to, but both running through nearly the same length 18 gauge lamp cord. So the Ridgid will be first up. Be testing at the same discharge rate, of course, that being what should be a 1 hour 4 amp. And let's go. Beginning the graph. And we'll come back here in an hour. But before we come back in an hour, I'll explain it. Both of these batteries are about 7 months old. I purchased them at almost the same time they both live in my truck and get the same sort of use. Alright, what a lovely curve. And you can see there the Ridgid's protection circuitry disconnected it just above this software's suggested disconnect voltage of 14 volts. Dropped off right at the end there. But it made 3.76 amp hour, and that's to be expected because we don't know what rate of discharge they use to get this rating here. But in my experience rebuilding these things, a good power tool battery generally comes in slightly below its rated output on a 1 hour test like this. Anyway, that's not the point here. It's to compare to the Ryobi. So let's get to the Ryobi. And with the Ryobi in its socket, and all the same parameters here, let's go. Okay, looks like a very similar curve. However, the Ryobi was at a lower voltage the whole time. So despite nearly the same amp hour rating, that's a little bit less power in total. So that's very similar, but noticeably different. So let's get a larger test group here. So each of these batteries came with a partner. So let's run the others. Here I have the other Ridgid fresh off the charger. And I got her hooked up, so let's do it again. Same parameters and go. And there it is, almost identical there. Just a little bit under the first one. And now for the other Ryobi. Same parameters, go. And an almost identical result to the first Ryobi. Good consistency there. So I'm wondering if the Ridgid charger doesn't just charge to a higher voltage here. But either way, almost identical power there. Certainly much closer together than the prices of these things can be sometimes. So what do you do about it? If only there was a way to get this thing into that thing. But as you saw, it all comes down to these and some of this and my welder. Someone should fix that. So I know what I'm doing when my Ridgids go dead. Because my time is worthless. And it's the principle of the thing. As for the differences between Ridgid and Ryobi tools, well, that's a whole other video of rambling. Let me know if you want to hear that. But for now, I'll just say that I feel they both have their place in a professional workspace. So let me know what else you'd like to see compared, and thanks for watching.